to pivot. We do like a buzzword, don't we? Well, anyway, we found someone who's done just that. Hi, my name is Mark and I'm from Human Finance, and we are property and business finance specialists. In today's video, we catch up with Claire Farren of Farrens, and they are virtual assistants who've had to change and adapt their business significantly during COVID-19. Let's see what we learned.
Hi Claire, thanks very much for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time. Farrens has been going now for nearly 4 years, and obviously you've had to make some significant changes as a result of the current situation. But before we get into that, do you want to tell me a little bit around Farrens and how it became to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is personal assistant. I've been personal assistant at various different levels over my career. So looking after small to medium-sized businesses, big corporate businesses, and I just have a passion for supporting people at all various different levels. So back in 2016, we decided as a couple that we wanted to have a little one. But we had this whole discussion about actually I wouldn't be really comfortable in being in a full-time role where we have to do early drop-offs, late pickups. I knew I would really struggle with that. I knew I'd struggle with missing out on certain aspects of, milestones. So we decided, right, okay, what else can we do? Because obviously I need to earn some money in order for us as a family to survive. So I started looking into this whole virtual assistant world and to see if it was something I could dabble in. And 4 years ago, I set up the website, went straight to my first networking event, and the business took up from there. So at the time I was 6 weeks pregnant, and I had the luxury of being able to build that business throughout my pregnancy, and then through maternity I had the amazing opportunity that the business worked so well and we had such a good return on it that I could actually not go back into full-time employment, and this has been my core role ever since. So 4 years later we're still going, and it still works for me and for my family, and we still have that flexibility, which is exactly what we wanted from day one. So we're very lucky.
Fantastic. Obviously things have changed. The current situation has changed and has driven a lot of businesses to have to change. You've managed to adapt to the current situation. So what has changed in Farrens as a result of COVID-19?
So there was a lot of change over the last 2 years. So we started to dabble a lot into training because of my expertise being a PA, and we started to do training with PAs and directors on training directors and supporting them on how to utilise a PA to the best of their ability and get the most return from them and create a really good solid relationship. That in turn created training courses of full days, going to businesses and helping them understand how to work in a modern place environment and use all these tools and technologies and smarter ways of working to really help adapt their business framework. So Farrens has gone to 50% virtual, 50% training. So when the pandemic hit, as you can imagine from a virtual assistant perspective, businesses are not sure if they're going to survive or where the income is going to come from. So that stopped immediately. Day one, VA business stopped. Training, naturally, everything was cancelled because nobody knew what the future looked like. If we're going to go into lockdown, the last thing they need is me coming into the office to train. That's not a necessity. So I had to quickly think on my feet, right, okay, what does that look like? What can I do to support people now that are about to enter into the VA world overnight? I had a beautiful 12 months of being able to do that and introduce myself into it and what does it look like and set myself up. Everybody else is doing this overnight immediately. So I sat down and started creating 1 hour snippet training courses based on top tips for working from home, how to set those boundaries, time management, which I didn't realise how crucial that was going to be until we ended up with having all our children at home and potentially vulnerable people with us as well. So time management has gone through the roof. And anyway, I just created those short snippets of training to help people adapt and help them be able to go into their home life with a bit of structure and as much knowledge and training experience I can give them to be able to do this seamlessly as much as possible, obviously, under the current circumstances.
Yeah, and that's a good example there of somebody adapting to a forced circumstance. So you would have loved to have a longer time to be able to make that change. But I guess part of the success of what you're doing now is the speed of change. You're able to adapt and adapt quickly. So what was the sort of main thought process behind the adaptation of the business?
So main thought process, 15 years I've been a personal assistant, 15 years I have had to find different ways of supporting people with their weaknesses, quickly adapting to different situations, being flexible immediately, finding answers and solutions as soon as possible. I had to find an answer solution, or all these people that have gone to working from home are really going to struggle. And it's not just about struggling of physically delivering their workload, it's about mental health as well. And it's about, right, okay, how do we put processes in place to help people keep motivated while they're at home? How do we put processes in place to help people keep time management, to keep a structure, to make sure that they're not working in their pajamas, to make sure that they have that professionalism while they are at home, which is ultimately our safety sanctuary. That's where we go home, that's where we chill out, that's where we are relaxed. Whereas we have to go home now and be in professional business mode 1 hour of the day and be mum, wife, whatever else it is, another hour of the day. It's like a complete flip, rather than having a beautiful 30 minutes commute where we can take that change. We've probably got about 30 seconds, which is us getting set up at our kitchen table to make that happen.
Yeah. No, I think, and it's important I guess what we're trying to demonstrate to other business owners is there is a thought process. You can either sit and let the situation consume you or consume your business, or you can look for ways in which you can sort of maneuver your business around that. Appreciate in certain sectors that is just not possible.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
If you're in a business that can adapt, the point is to adapt and to do it quickly. And that. So, obviously, given the pace at which you had to change, what would you do differently, or what would you do again if you had to do this all over again?
My goodness, virtual training was never in my thought process of Farrens in the next at least 2 years. I was just building what I had. I was working really strong on that. I was trying to adapt to going into offices, because obviously I've been virtual myself for so long, and having then to flip into training virtually, as well as training people on being virtual at home. So I had this whole different collaboration of, right, okay, how do we do that and how do we flip it quite quickly? So if I had my time over, I would love that nice 6-month process to sit and work on each of those training courses and find out as much information as possible about people's personal circumstances when they're at home, so I can adapt training courses and help people, bring solutions into the course. Whereas actually the courses right now are slightly changing daily, because every time I train someone new, I learn something new. Yeah. So it's as much for me as it is for everybody else out there. 4 years I've been doing this virtually, 4 years I've met people doing it virtually, but still right now, it was never under these circumstances. It was never with this amount of intense pressure, and it was never where people had to flip and do it overnight and try and make their businesses work under these extreme pressures. Yeah. So it's been quite an interesting turn of events, but I would love a lot longer to plan if that was an option. Obviously it wasn't, but that's definitely what we're thinking about now moving forward. How can we change all of this to bring it as part of our service offering moving forward?
Yeah, so I guess the main difference really is here, you previously worked with people who selected to have this model of virtual working, whereas now everybody's been sort of forced, those that can anyway, have been forced into it. And some have embraced it and run with it, and others not so much. And I'm sure there's some funny stories that you've got of people turning up to web conferences in pajamas or just no clothes at all, in instances, and children running around in the background, etc. So, no, I really do appreciate you taking the time to speak to me this morning.
Welcome.
Really interesting, really well done on what you've done with Farrens and your ability to shift. And yeah, no doubt we'll catch up very soon. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mark.
Great stuff there from Claire. So let's just take a quick recap of some of the key points. Assess the current demand. Check to see which of your products and services remain relevant. It's pointless trying to sell something that just won't fit into the current climate. Perhaps it's something that needs to be put on hold until such time the restrictions change. I'm sure you're doing this already, but look for solutions. How can you adapt what your current offering is to be able to deliver it in a remote setting? Take action and act quickly. Failure to do anything is probably worse than doing something. And reform and tweak. The decisions you've made so far have probably been made in a rush circumstance and are probably not going to be right first time. So review and analyse to make sure that you get the best possible outcome for both yourself and your clients. And that's us. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you found it useful, and we'll catch you next time.